heart of hospitality is about creating space for someone to feel seen and heard and loved. Wonderful evening to all the ladies and gentlemen over here. We are here for a fireside chat with Mr. Harsha Melanta, founder of Mysore Union North Avenue and Union Catering Company, and Mrs. Urvashi Melanta, managing partner at By the Way Restaurant Mysore, partner at Kling Brewery, Church Street, Bangalore, and Tony and Guy, Mysore. Now I request the president of TiE Mysuru, Mr. Bhaskar Kalale, to deliver the welcome address and make the opening remarks.
Thanks, Kishan. Good evening to everybody. It's a pleasure to have you all this evening, particularly when there is a IPL match going on in about maybe an hour or so. To have you guys here wanting to listen to the fireside chat shows how interested you guys are or must be. And it's my personal pleasure to invite or to have Harsha and Urvashi with us this evening. I have known Harsha and Urvashi for 13 years, a little over 13 years now. And I'm not actually surprised that they went into the hospitality industry. And for multiple reasons. So when Harsha and I were colleagues at Therum, I used to joke with him that he's in the wrong sector. Right, so he's very witty, he's very funny, and if you sit with him for 10 minutes, you'll be laughing for next 2 hours. And I hope we'll get to see some of those things this evening. But besides that, they were the first, when we relocated from the US, we didn't know anybody in Mysore, and they were the first one to invite my wife, myself, and my kids over to their house for dinner, and I'll never forget that. That was our first social outing. In Mysore, and trying to still make friends, etc. And we had some drinks, and we had some short eats, and some more short eats, and some more short eats, and some more short eats. And then after everything was done, Urvashi said, let's join us, let's start dinner. And I don't know how long we spent at their place, but by the time we were done, we were absolutely full. We had no place to even drink water. But after that, as I said, Harsha and I were colleagues, and it's been a pleasure to meet both of them all the time. We also seen their kids grow up, and his son is here, and unfortunately their daughter is studying for her SSLC exam. But anyway, so I don't want to take too much of time. I know you guys are waiting to hear from both of them. A remarkable couple, and I cannot say enough of how beautiful a couple they are as people as well. They both wear, their emotions on their sleeve, and they talk from the heart, right? That's what I've seen, and you will see that as well. But before I hand it over to them, or to Ashwin, in fact, to moderate the session, invite them onto the stage, just a quick couple of updates. All of the things that we talked about, or I had talked about last couple of months, about where the vision of TiE Mysuru, I want to take my TiE Mysuru to, is actually coming up slowly. We've been engaging with the institutional members over the last 6 weeks or so. And I believe we have made tremendous progress in addressing some of the concerns that the institution members have, particularly pertaining to the student population, to foster in entrepreneurship and also innovation in school and college level, etc. So we are, just to give you a very high level idea, we are trying to build a forum of students from about 5 or 6 colleges, nominated by the colleges, and they will become hopefully the fulcrum of taking this entrepreneurship ecosystem forward and develop it further. We also now trying to get a website for TiE Mysuru, other than the global website that we already have. We are also now on the final stages of introducing a monthly event sponsorship levels as well, as opposed to the annual level. This will allow hopefully the smaller micro and small businesses to be known outside of the big TiECon kind of an event, right? So at a much lower sponsorship levels, etc., etc. Anyway, so those updates hopefully we'll start sharing with you next week. But without further ado, it's again a pleasure to have Harsha and Urvashi, and I hand it over to Ashwin or Kishan. All right, thank you very much for coming again.
Thank you so much, sir. So it's my pleasure to introduce you all, the speakers of today. Mrs. Urvashi Harsha Melanta embarked her career after completing her master's in journalism and mass communication She spent 15 years honing her leadership and organizational skills in talent acquisition and employee engagement at top IT multinationals like IBM, WNS, Aditya Birla, AXA Business Services, where she served as VP HR. Urvashi is married to serial entrepreneur Harsha Melanta. Together, they ventured the hospitality industry 11 years ago with their first restaurant, by the way, in Mysore. This was followed by the launch of Fish Curry Rice, a chain of highway restaurants, and the iconic Mysuru Union, Mysuru Union and North Avenue that landmarks in Mysore. The Melantas are also the founders of Union Catering Company, a premium personalized banquet service with a presence across Karnataka. Additionally, they are the managing partners of King Brewery on Church Street in Bengaluru. Urvashi is a managing partner in Tony and Guy, a sought-after unisex salon in Mysore. Urvashi also manages the F&B and hospitality for Yoga Dhamma and Idea Yoga, a center that certificates and trains yoga teachers on Hatha and Ashtanga Yoga. Urvashi plays a vital role in supporting Harsha's entrepreneurial endeavors. Together, they have two children, Ditya Krishna and Om Krishna Melanta. As a food evangelist and culinary enthusiast, Urvashi's passion for food drives her to innovate and push boundaries. Her love for the culinary world is evident in the success of her restaurants and other ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands to welcome Mrs. Urvashi Melanta onto the dais, please. Harsha Melanta. Harsha is a renowned entrepreneur from Bangalore with 20 plus years of experience. He drives growth and innovation across diverse industries. Leading 8 businesses with 30 plus partners, he is an expert in collaborative partnership, fostering synergy and mutual success. He co-owns multiple companies in food industries like Union Catering, Mysore Union, King Brewery, Fish Curry Rice, North Avenue, and by the way, to name few. Harsha also speaks at business schools about his business journey, learning and collaborative partnership. He is a speaker for Young India. Harsha has a very unique identity in market as a collaborative partner. Harsha challenges the conventional view that business partnerships are inherently risky and prone to failure. Throughout his entrepreneurial journey, he has collaborated with over 30 partners to successfully run multiple ventures. His unique approach, termed collaborative partnership, offers a fresh perspective on creating and sustaining successful business alliances. Harsha's talk will explore the principle and strategies behind this approach, demonstrating how trust, synergy, and mutual growth can redefine partnership dynamics in the business world. So the key takeaway is, though Harsha's collaborative partnership approach, business alliance can be transformed from risky endeavors into successful, trust-based relationship that drives mutual growth and innovation is his takeaway. I welcome you onto the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to probably, as I was having a word with Mr. The entire Mysoreans are looking forward for a space in Mysuru Social Sir North Avenue. The founders are here with us in this hall. To do the moderation, we have with us Ashwin Dange, Business Head, GRS Fantasy Park. To introduce Ashwin serves as a director at Baliga Investment Private Limited and GRS Engineering Private Limited. GRS Engineering is involved in automobile component manufacturing, with every truck in India at least has one component manufactured by GRS Engineering. As the strategic head of GRS Entertainment business at Baliga Investments Private Limited, Ashwin has played a pivotal role in its growth. He oversees the organization's finance, marketing, and growth strategies. Under his leadership, GRS has grown 4x in the past 5 years, establishing itself as one of the fastest growing entertainment brands in India. Its annual footfall is over 10 lakh visitors across GRS Fantasy Park, GRS Snow Park, and the GRS Up-Down Museum. Ashwin's influence in the amusement industry extends beyond his role at GRS. He serves as director of the Indian Amusement Association and involved in strategic decision affecting the amusement industry in India. As head of social media and digital intervention, he has been instrumental in leading the industry association into the digital age. Away from work, he is a doting father to his 2-year-old son Advik. He is married to Dr. Namita, an oral and, I don't want to mispronounce, maxillofacial surgeon who performs life-changing surgeries at no cost for children and cleft lip and palate issues. I mean, it's very hard to go with the key terminologies with especially the medicos. A hearty welcome to you, Ashwin, and request all of you to put your hands together on the dais. Now we get to know how it's difficult for a medicos to remember the terms and keep going with it. Ashwin, this forum is yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. So it's a very nice thing to share the stage with Harsha and Urvashi, because Harsha is known to be an awesome speaker. So when you get an awesome speaker on stage, there's very little the moderator has to do. My only job today that Harsha told me was, you have to make me shut up so that Urvashi can talk as well. Right, so that's my job today, is to put brakes on Harsha and is to accelerate her car. Right, so just to begin, so that we understand who is it that we are talking to, by a raise of hands, can we know how many students we have here? Students who are studying in a college. Okay, great, excellent. Can we have a raise of hands of how many maybe startups or entrepreneurs who have businesses which are maybe less than 3 or 5 years old? Great, awesome. And then business owners who have businesses which are over 5 years old. Great, excellent. So that's the profile today. That's the chunk that we are talking to. A lot of young students that you get to inspire. So Harsha, let me not ask you a question to begin with. Why don't you give an opening remark and then we take it from there?
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everybody. A big thank you for all of you to have come here. Because then I told Bhaskar there's an RCB match. I don't think anybody is going to come. And if they don't, I said, why don't I call my staff and my friends? And then I realized because of the match, even they will not come. So in spite of them not wanting to come, you have come here to listen to us. I hope we do justice to this 1.5 hours that we spent together. It's not a prepared thing. Ashwin asked me yesterday, is there anything particular you want me to ask? I said, no. Let it be from the heart. It's nothing from the books. Basically, the last few years that we both have slogged our life to get to the little space that we've got into, it's going to be sharing of that experience. And if it can help you, excellent. That's from me. And I think from Urvashi, anything you want to say? I have to be very careful. I was telling him, I have this habit of going on. And this is the first time I'm sharing stage with my wife, so I have to make sure that I give her ample opportunity to talk. Usually the other way around. At home, yes. We have an understanding.
Good evening, everybody. Real privilege to be here. Looking forward to having this conversation with all of you.
Amazing. Welcome. So just let's go back to, I'm very interested in this jump that you did from when you were working in a corporate to then jumping and getting into the restaurant business. I think this is the dream of every person who's working in Bangalore, right? I was in Bangalore once upon a time in an IT company, and I was doing a job, and everybody around me, I think 60%, 70% people around me had this idea. Every time they went to a restaurant and they paid 300 rupees for a biryani, they were like, hey, Maneli, I can do this for 50 rupees. Why are they charging me 300? Right? So how did it happen? Was it planned? Is this something that you had planned for a long time? Or was this chance? What happened?
Well, jump was a way of life from my childhood. I kept jumping from one place to the right from my childhood. So it either could be from school to school. I joined engineering, I joined for mechanical. 1 year later, I realized mechanical is very difficult. Then I asked what is the easiest thing to do. Somebody said civil. I joined civil. Then from somewhere there, I went to do my MBA. Within 15 days of MBA, I realized that I'm better off without my MBA. I went and did a business. So then one business to another. So jumping has been a way of life. I came to Mysore in 2000 for a business of my own. I had an advertising business. I was 21, 22 years of age, and I did extremely well. And that is when I met Urvashi. She joined. We were about 70 people in my company. I had a company called Grantone Advertising. I'm sure a lot of people might know there was a time in Mysore when there was privilege cards being given from different hotels, from Roost and Southern Star, and this was done by me. It was launched by me in Mysore called Grand Tone Advertising. It did extremely well in the year 2000. In a year, we were about 72 employees. We had an office in Mangalore, Mysore, Coimbatore, and Chandigarh. Then somebody told me, now that you're 72, you need an HR manager. So I said, what is an HR manager? He said, don't bother, you just put an ad, they'll come. And you can hire them. So that is how Urvashi came on board. She was working with the Z at that point in time. And so she joined us as an HR manager. In about 2 years, we lost everything in that business. The only thing that was left was she and me. Okay, so it became a family business. So we shut the business. We started looking for jobs. I mean, we went to Coimbatore, then from there we went to Pune, looking for jobs. I joined a call center as a call center agent. Fortunately, she had her HR background, so she joined ICICI Bank. She worked in various organizations. I started off as a call center agent, then joined a company called WNS, got a couple of years of experience with WNS, then came as a senior manager to Theorem. That's again how I came back to Theorem, to Mysore, I'm sorry. I worked in Mysore in Theorem for about 5 years, but somewhere I felt that the stimulation was missing. I had a very comfortable life. I would go to work around 12:31 in the afternoon, go to my office. We had those BlackBerry phones those days, so you check all your mails in the morning, go to the gym, go to the office in the afternoon. By about 8:39, you're done. Your client calls, US client calls are all done by 8:39. You come back home. Somewhere I felt there was something missing. And Urvashi was at that time, India had HR with AXA in Bangalore. So she was in Bangalore, I was in Mysore. We had 2 children by then, so there was this whole entourage of my wife, 2 children, 2 maids, and my mother-in-law coming on a Saturday to visit us. And Monday they would go back, so she would work there, I would work here. Somewhere we felt that we need to do something on our own and we need to be together. That's when we decided, and both of us resigned on the same day. That was the biggest decision somebody could take. Both of us earning pretty well, and those days, Saturday, Sunday, holiday, 5 days a week we used to work. We decided that we need to quit and start something on our own. Both of us resigned on the same day in 2013 May. And we started a first restaurant called By the Way. That's on the Ring Road. You might have seen it. Fortunately, it did well. A lot of passion. We were totally into it. We would go to... Sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
Guys, sorry, I'm very sorry, but I have to speak on her behalf as well.
Yeah, you can just hint, okay? Don't say in front of her.
I'll ask. Sorry,
yeah.
What should I pinch you? What should I do?
You can just raise your finger as well.
Okay.
Kidding.
Ma'am, I want to ask you, did he make you quit or did you make him quit?
Actually, he's been a business person from the beginning. I mean, business runs in his blood. He's always been the planner. He's the one who strategizes. He's the one who plans. I just follow instructions very well.
Amazing. Great. So, vision is what? Now, tell me one thing. You must have been a very good call center agent?
Yeah, I was. Definitely, yes.
You must have been a very good call center agent, right? Because gift of the gab.
It's not just call center. I'll tell you one thing about me. I mean, I'm sure Bhaskar will agree, my wife will agree, is that whatever I've done in life, I've done with utmost passion. Whatever small little thing. I always tell people, when you're doing something, do it with so much passion that you don't have to look back and say, I wish I could have done it like this. I tell my children the same thing. Irrespective of the result can be anything. But you should not feel that you should have run that race better than what you did. You should have done your best. Somebody can run faster than you, but your attempt has to be the best. So fortunately for me, I was very few people who got promoted very fast in my corporate world because extremely passionate, did more than what was expected. So it definitely helped.
Definitely. Now,
I'd like to add one thing to what he's saying. I think till today, I can say till around 4 years back, that's when I checked last, in every call center or in every IT company, when you join the company, you have like an introduction. So till 4 years back, I haven't seen it after that, but till 4 years back, at every stage where there's an induction in WNS, they give Harsha as an example. 5 years, 5 promotions.
Wow, very nice, excellent. Now tell me, this passion that you talk about, right? Where does this come from? What is the drive, right? Is this generated or is this like why do you have this drive to succeed? Because I'll ask you why this question is. Because there are some people who are inherently driven, right? They don't need, that fire's there. And then there are some people who can generate it, right? So how does this happen for you?
One, I think, coming from Mangalore, it comes naturally to us that we're a little aggressive, over the top in trying to achieve things and doing things. And the second thing, that the fact that we've left our city where we've born from and come out, you know that you can't go back. I mean, if you go back and say that I've not done anything, then you don't go back with a failed face. So when you come out, that extra pressure in order to achieve something, I always tell people, leave the city that you were born and go to another city. When you go to another city, then by default, there's a little pressure for you to achieve a little more because you can't come back as a failure. So that pressure keeps it on. Second, like I said, from Mangalore, I think usually you meet Mangalore. I'm not trying to, say anything in between the lines, but all I'm saying is Mangalore is generally a little more aggressive. So you're also Mangalore, you agree, I'm sure.
Just banking on his words, I'm also from Mangalore, so be it.
And yesterday I was talking about this to somebody. There was a time when we started working in like I said, I had a business. We lost everything. And then I was working in a call center. And then to make ends meet, night I used to work in the call center and day I used to do the small events. And there events where she would be the MC and I would dress up like a lion. Okay, purely because of a lion, because the people who were organizing those birthday parties were from my community, from Mangalore. I didn't want them to recognize me. So I used to wear a lion's dress and I used to dance there. And inside I used to cry. I'm like, is this what I was meant for? So I was telling somebody yesterday, why so much passion? Because again, I do not want to get into the lion's dress. I want to make sure what I'm doing, I continue doing it, and if not grow tremendously, at least maintain the status quo that I'm in right now today.
Great. And so now when you look back at that young Harsha who was in the Lion, and you know where you are today, right? At that time it was all of doubt. So if you had to tell something to that Harsha today, what would you be saying?
I would say, I think you've come a long way, but a lot of learnings, and it's made me humble, to be very honest. It's never got into my head that whatever little I've achieved, because I told you, there's always a fear of getting back into the lion's dress, which I do not want to do today. So that keeps us grounded, that keeps us humble, and it helps us understand the other person's perspective about life also, who's working for you, or who's your client, or who's your customer.
Correct. Now you work with so many staff and so many businesses, and empathy plays a huge role in all of this, right? So how do you manage, you have 2 young children, right? And then you have to manage the family and all of this. How does all of this happen together?
I'll answer.
Today he has no way to get out. Only truth comes out.
One of my biggest strength has been my human relations, be it with my partners. I always brag about the fact that I've got 32 partners as on date. And by the end of this year, I'll be having about 36 partners across about 9 to 10 business. So I talk a lot about collaborative partnership. Now, partnership is all about a new business when you start. Vinay and Pratibha, they are my partners at Mysore Union. By the way, Tony and Guy, we are partners. When you start a new business, it's like giving birth to a new child. Okay, and the partners are like parents. The only difference is here the child can have multiple mothers. Okay, whereas in real life that option is not available. But you can have multiple partners to manage a business. So when the child is born, trust me, when you start a new business, the first 1-2 years, there's going to be so much of fighting, so much of shouting, screaming. We've fought day in and day out. We've cried, walked out of the room, and sometimes regretted why we've got into this partnership. Exactly like how you bring up a child. In the middle of the night, this baby cries, and the mother's waking up. She's trying to wake up the drunk husband who's sleeping next to him, and he gets angry, and all sorts of things that happen. Once the baby starts walking, or once the baby is grown to 3 to 4 years of age, then things get very, very easy. The baby themselves are independent, then you are also free to do various other things. So every business partnership is like that, where I say one becomes a mother, one becomes a father. Fortunately for me, my biggest strength has been my wife. Every single time when we started a business, I have literally been the father who has played a role once to bring the child into this world, and she's the one who's been the mother and taken care till that child has, be it Mysore Union, be it By the Way, be it Clink today, be it Tony and Guy. I come up with an idea, I'm very good at executing it, getting it done, and then she's the one who manages the day-to-day challenges. Initially, there are a lot of issues that happens, even with our kids. It was me initially, but now, from the time they were born, literally she, her mother, and my maid who have taken care of the kids. So she's played a major role, although she, I'm the one front-ending, I'm the one who says that I'm the businessman, but she's the one who's really helped me to get to wherever I've gotten today.
Amazing. That's so nice to hear. And so how do you keep this most important partnership alive? Right? How do you keep the spark alive? How do you make it happen? And that's for you. Urvashi, that's a question for you. How do either of you keep it how do you make it happen?
I think, as I said, I'm very good at taking instructions. So he's the one who plans everything. He strategizes. I'd like to give you an example from a work perspective. Recently, we did a catering for a company called Boeing. We did their annual day for around 12,000 people. And on the same day, we had another requirement where there's another company called Applied Materials. They had their family day, which were around 8,000-9,000. So there's more than 20,000 people on one day in 2 separate locations. So when this came to us, the first thing that Harsha said is that, no, let's not do it. We won't be able to do both together. I said, no, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. So we agreed to do it, and he made like a complete plan of the whole thing. It was like a script that we had to follow. So he managed Boeing, And me with a couple of other of our partners, we went and managed the other event. And both went seamlessly, and like it was like a screenplay because we just followed instructions. He made a plan, who does what comes first, what comes next, who will manage which department, and we just followed
we
instructions.
actually gave them a screenplay. I told them, don't use your brains. Just follow instructions. I said, I'm going to manage Boeing, leave Boeing to me. The other company that you're managing, I'm going to give you an hour by hour instruction on what needs to be done. Please do not apply any of your brains, just follow these instructions. And trust me, in 24 hours, both the events went very well. We catered for 20,000 people. So yeah, what I would want to, the takeaway from what she's saying is, as far as you understand what your strength is and the other person understands the strength, and you don't step on each other's foot. As
we
far
have,
as one...
very clear boundaries when we work. Like,
Yeah.
see, I manage food. So he doesn't interfere with anything related to food. And I don't interfere in his operations, in finance, in managing public. I don't interfere in that at all. It's only when he asks me for something, I come and pitch in over there. And when it comes to food and production and managing the food and kitchen, he doesn't interfere in that at all. We have our clear boundaries.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to actually. In fact, I don't understand food at all. Although I own a couple of restaurants, I just don't understand food. If somebody comes and asks me what are the good dishes, after three, I just go blank. So I don't understand food. I'm not allowed into the kitchen. And I have nothing much to say in the kitchen also. So I manage all other operations, whereas she manages the food part. So in case in Mysore Union, then Vinay and Pratibha, they probably manage the entire maintenance of the property. So all of us understand what is our strength. And that is where it takes 1-2 years to get there. Because the first 1 year you're fighting with each other, because everybody is trying to step on each other's toe. The minute in a partnership you understand this is my strength and I'm going to take decisions here. This is your strength. You take your decisions, irrespective of what the outcome is. You take your decisions, I take my decisions, we run the ship, and it reaches where it has to reach.
But when I'm just wondering, when money is involved, right? How do you, I understand that you take decision and she's okay with it, she takes decision, you're okay with it. It's within the family, so whatever. But when outsiders are involved, and when I say outsiders, I mean non-family is involved, and they are taking decisions in terms of money, is there like a playbook that you have that, okay, these are the rules for how to work in partnerships? Or is this like an intuition that you've developed over time? Maybe you started off with, by the way, was it a partnership?
Yes, it is. It still is.
Okay, so by the way, maybe there was something that you learned, and then the next one you learned something else. And is this like an intuitive thing that you do? Or are you like very sure saying, okay, if it's X amount of money, then, everybody is allowed to take decisions. If it's, how does that work?
The one basic logic in partnership is work for your partner. I always tell people, don't work for yourself. I try my best to make sure that my partner Vinay makes money this month. By doing that, two things comes out of it. If I'm going to work for myself, I'm going to make money, my partner might make money, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of ego clashes, there's going to be a lot of arguments, and there is going to be also some amount of selfishness that get involved in me making more money. If I'm going to be working for my partner, one, he's going to make money, and if he's going to make money, I'm going to make money. Second, our relationship is going to be excellent. I've got my first partner was 11 years back. In the last 11 years, I've got 34 partners. I have a beautiful relationship with all my 34 partners. I can proudly say that we party, we drink, we have a good time, we're family friends. And why can't they become family? They're family. They're least interested in me talking, but they've come here because I'm talking today. They've heard enough of me. Why they've come is because they're family. They want to be a part of something that we are a part of. So all these years, I always say, work for your partner. Try and make sure that your partner makes money, your partner succeeds. While doing that, not just you succeed, but also you have a great relationship with your partner where they know that this man is working for me. And that should be mutual.
Correct. I completely get it. Excellent. That's wonderful. It's a 100-0 relationship, meaning like you take 100% responsibility for everything, and then you're not expecting. But what if it's not reciprocated? Do you get those scenarios? How do you chalk it out? Right? You said we fight, we get out the door. How do you chalk it out after that? How do you set it right?
See, I think first and foremost, most important, whom you select as a partner. What is the reason to why you've got into a partnership? If your reason for getting into partnership is only financial, then I would say do not get into a partnership, rather bring in an investor. If your reason for getting into a partnership is that this particular idea, Mysore Union for example, the minute we spoke about this, all the 4 partners were damn excited about the whole idea. We thought, this can bring a lot of difference to our lives, to people's life, to Mysore and things like that. Money wasn't the criteria to why we came together. Not that Vinay had money or I had money. It's not the money part. It was the idea that came in. And second thing is the rapport that we already had. We didn't randomly pick somebody from outside. So we knew that the kind of, I make sure one of the things that people whom I work with as a partner is somebody with whom I can fight, and I know that with somebody whom I can always come back to. Not somebody who has a big ego and, so money was never the criteria. It was more about the wavelength, the passion, the excitement, the wanting to grow together. So that is what got us together. So, and we know that even if we fight, it's very clear why we fought. There are so many times we fight in the interest of the business, not in my interest or somebody else's interest. And then the other challenge with partnership is when you're doing well, there are a lot of other people who will try and put in something into your partner's ear or your ear saying that, I met Vinay the other day. He was telling me that he is 80% partner and you're just 10% partner. Things like this come up, which Vinay would have never said or Harsha would have never said. But there are people who will always try to squeeze a little lime into this whole relationship because they are not happy with the way things are going on. And what we do as an understanding between me and all my 32 partners is, if you hear about anything that I've said, pick up your phone and call me then and there. Don't go and tell your wife. Then your wife will get angry with my wife because her husband told this about your husband. Right? So then the whole equation starts messing up. Don't tell your wife, don't tell my wife, you call me. So there are times when somebody has told me, I've called Vinay, you know what, have you said this? He'll immediately confess, have I said this? Then the thing is clear there. And the other fear is that, no, we can't say anything also because they'll call immediately and ask. So see, it's also, we have to be cautious.
It's. I think the bottom line in this is communication, right?
Over-communication. Over-communicate. I would say with your partners, over-communicate, not just communicate. The smallest of the things, pick up the phone, talk to them, clarify. You cannot let a small thing ruin the whole relationship. It's like marriage. It's like marriage. Now, tomorrow if somebody tells you that, this is what your wife told about you, the first thing will go and fight at home, right? It's not that you're going to go and tell your friends that my wife told about me. It's exactly like a marriage. Your business partner is also your life partner because he's your partner for life. So it's exactly like a marriage. So the minute I have an issue with my wife, I'm going to go home and scream, shout. So you ask me this question, how do you get back? We get back. What to do? No option. So why do we think that there is an option? Even with my business partner, there is no option. I want Vinay with me, whether we fight. I want somebody else with me. So we fight, we shout, we scream, then we let our ego aside, send a small WhatsApp message. He sends me, I love you, Anna, after we fight. He does that. I send him sometimes. Then we meet, it's okay, because we know we need each other for life. It's not, partnership need not be short-term at all. No, we think of it as a business life partnership.
Yeah, I completely get it. And if now you've said that for the last night, the fact that every partner that you've had since you've started, you still hold their hand, that's a big deal, right? It's not a disposable relationship. It's a relationship for life.
Not only that, Ashwin, I'd like to add here, Harsha is nature, the kind of person that he is. When we started our first restaurant, which was 11 years back, the team that we started the restaurant with, we still have the same team. And if anybody is from the hospitality industry, they'd know how difficult that is. Because I think managing your staff, managing your team, managing the labor that work with you, managing their problems, their egos, their issues, getting them together, making sure they work, and who have worked with us continuously. So we have people who've been working with us for 13 years, 14 years.
Very nice, excellent. So now tell me about, now Mysore unions become a huge deal, right? And it's the talk of the town. When you started, how did you come up with this idea? How did this happen? What was the market gap that you saw that you felt like something like this would be of value?
I'd like to say this. So how this idea came up is that, as Harsha said, both of us used to work. I was in Bangalore, he was in Mysore. We had 2 small children. Every time we decided to go out for dinner on the weekend, we didn't have an option. We had to go to either Coastal Garden or Sports Club because it had a children's play area and that's where the children were comfortable. So we wanted to create this place where there was something which he would like to do or something which I would like to do and the children also would be occupied. So we wanted this one place that had something for everybody and that's when Harsha came up with this idea.
No, I think it's, we've been going deep in trying to understand our customer and just trying to understand how customer behavior is changing. And we had, at GRS, our business is, children, preteens and their families. So we had a whole bunch of preteens and their mothers who were sitting in my conference hall with my team and having a discussion with them. And they said 2-3 places which were their favorites. And one of them was Mysore Union. And they were like, my kids go and play, I sit and have food, and that's a big deal. And then it clicked, right? See, there are 2 kinds of things that I look at. One is where sometimes parents also want to have some time of their own. And the other is sometimes where the parents want to get connected. GRS is the place where parents and kids get connected And union is the place where parents get time and kids get to have fun. Right, so that's something that my team kind of chalked it out in our conference hall while we were sitting, and I said it all clicked in place when we were discussing, right? Oh yeah, this, it clicked. And now when you said it, it was just a proof of concept, like it. Okay, tell me more.
There's actually something for everybody in Mysore Union, you know. I mean, all of us racked our brain a lot about what all we need to bring in. So if you're a sports enthusiast, then you have a badminton court, you have a swimming pool, you have a gym, you have squash. The only place that has got squash for the public in Mysore. We have snooker, billiards, we have a spa, we have all these facilities for people who are fitness enthusiasts. There is a kids play area, there's a small creche, there is a video game for children, there's good food, and then there is DJ and music on the top for youngsters. So we basically, and it was a big risk. When we started off, trust me, it was a big risk. People said, who's going to come all the way here to Mysore Union? You're out of the... I really must thank Vinay and my other partners who thought that it was a good... They also were equally excited. They thought it was a great idea, and we all came together, put our heart, soul, money, everything into it. And there was never been a single Saturday, trust me, not a single Saturday in the last 7 years where we've had even one chair empty in the last 7 years. Or even for that matter, Friday or Monday. We've been very fortunate. See, you can do all the plans in the world, but if there's no God's grace, if there's no, if you're not fortunate enough, then things don't work. It's not that everything that we've touched has turned gold. You know, we've also failed. We've had some restaurants which shut, which didn't work for whatever reasons. So this worked for us. We thought of incorporating everything. We did it, and eventually it took off. And real credit goes after that what we've done. You know, starting something new is very easy. Even today, you walk into Mysore Union, trust me, it doesn't look like a 9-year-old property. I can assure you that. We are very, very finicky about hygiene, cleanliness. You will not find a single tissue paper fallen somewhere. We just spent a ransom in redoing the whole place. We said it's 9 years, 8 years, people have to get the freshness. We changed the whole, we changed the interlock, we changed the, we got a new toilet block. We did a lot of changes. So that entire planning and execution is done by the Naksha team, that's our partners, because we are not good at that. You tell us about a menu that needs to be changed, okay, Urvashi will take care of that. You want some training for the staff, I take care of that. But then there is a whole renovation, doing up the place, planning on what new things needs to be added. We have another partner who does that. So we have equally divided all the responsibilities, and everybody, when we come together, we are able to give a good product.
Very nice. It's awesome to hear that. Like the two things that I take away, I mean, I want to discuss further is you said by the grace of God, and you talked about failures, right? So how do you, failures happen, how do you handle that? And also, like, what is this by the grace of God? What does it mean?
Good, excellent question. I'll tell you what, my first business that I did in Mysore in 2000 was this company called Granton Advertising. The first 1 year, we made about 30 lakhs, which was big money for a youngster like me. 72.
And in 2000?
In 2000, in Mysore.
Yeah, yes.
In Mysore. Okay, made a lot of money. At the same time, that business failed. After 2 years, this business failed. And when I had to look back and think, why did this business fail? What did I do wrong? I arrived at these 3 things that works, or 3 things is required in order to succeed. 1, hard work, definitely. 1, discipline. And 1, luck. That's what I'm getting to what you asked me. So now hard work. All of us, you have an opportunity in hand. You open a Mysore Union, you have to work hard. Second, you need to be absolutely disciplined. Disciplined in terms of time, in terms of finance, in terms of how you manage your customers. Absolutely disciplined. Third is luck. Now what is luck? Luck can be vastu. Luck can be blessings from your parents. Luck can be your good karma. Luck can be blessings from God. That is something that is not at all visible to the naked eye. It's something that's beyond what you can think of, what you believe in. Can be the good deeds that you do, can be the blessing from your elders, can be something that you help somebody. This is called luck. That is not in our control. But what is in our control is working hard and staying disciplined. So I decided I'm going to keep working hard in my life, and I'm going to be absolutely, absolutely disciplined. When I did my first business, I was extremely hardworking, but zero discipline. There are times when my whole office, 35 of us would come together in Mysore in the morning, and then half of them are hungover, others are not feeling like working. You don't want to work today? No. Okay, let's go to Black Thunder, Coimbatore. We booked a bus, went to Black Thunder. Okay, so somebody doesn't want to work, nobody works. And we would randomly give checks would bounce. We had no financial discipline, we had no time discipline. We might have missed so many opportunities because people have called us to meet them, but we didn't turn up on time. I realized where I missed out, and I had luck at that time. To be honest with you, things were working very well for me. But that lack of discipline ruined my entire business. And I said, nothing in the future, which is in my control, is going to ruin my business for me. I'm going to stay disciplined, I'm going to work hard. When this luck factor, which is, I don't know what it is, when that works for me, then I will go to another level. And trust me, it did. We did, by the way, we did Mysore, and we kept working hard, we stayed disciplined. Something worked. I'm telling you, every property of ours is 100%, I wouldn't say 100, but 90% Vastu compliant. Every property of ours, we make sure every year we do a puja because we believe in God. Every property of ours, we do some amount of corporate social responsibility. We educate children without telling anybody. We do our bit. We take care. We are probably one of the few properties which has paid entire salary during COVID. We paid through our nose, but we paid our staff. She mentioned 80% of our staff are with us from day one, except for maybe death or relocation. Most of them are with us for a simple reason that we understand that they also have families. We don't pay them more when we earn more, then why take it away when we're earning less? So all that is probably, those things all put together is what is God's blessings, luck. So when that comes in, if you stay hardworking and disciplined, definitely it will help us reach another milestone.
I completely agree. And do you want to add something to this about, when failures happen, or what does God mean, and how does all of this play in? Do you want to add anything more, or has he said everything?
I absolutely agree with him, and I think that change of getting discipline into whatever we do and working hard, believing in God, ensuring that we do our best is what is the key.
I can proudly say in the last 25 years, I don't mean to brag, I have never been late for anything in my life. Never. I'm always on time.
I can't tell you how, as a wife, I have suffered because of this. My God.
My wife will tell you that she suffers because of this. Because, Harsha, I feel like your brother, man. You're like my brother. Because, the lines that I say is, I have to be the hardest working person in the room. I have to be the earliest one to wake up. I say things like, God is with us. These are the lines that I say. And so when you say no, I'm like, and Vinay has also known me, right? So I'm I kind of vibe with you.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Somebody tells me a time, it's like, it goes into my head, and then that time I have to, there are...
I'll tell you a very funny incident. So there was this time when both our children were really small. My son was a toddler. He was probably around 6 months old. My daughter was 2 years old. One of his colleagues invited him for their child's naming ceremony in a church opposite the bus stand. And he told him, sir, you need to come here at 8:30 in the morning. And 3 days before, he told me, when I was leaving Bangalore, that on Sunday morning, we have to go at 8 o'clock. So please don't give me excuses that I need to give the child a bath. The child wants to go to the washroom. I'll also help you. I'll do whatever needed, but we have to be there on time. And Harsha saying being there on time is not being there on time. Being there 15-20 minutes earlier. So with 2 small toddlers, we got up early in the morning. We got them ready, everything. And we reached the church at 7:45. And the church was not open only.
The gate was not open. In 20 minutes, my kids are rolling on the floor, mud all over them. And finally, he reaches there at 9:15. And we are sitting there. I'm like, why did you call me on a Sunday morning at 8:30? So when somebody tells me a time, it registers so hard that I cannot be late. That's become a habit.
Amazing. Was this always so, or was this something that changed along the way?
It changed along the way. Some hard experiences, some difficult. I told you I lost few opportunities. While working in the corporate also, I had a very bad experience because of being late. Something that I had prepared for in Pune while I was in WNS, I prepared for a presentation which would take us to another level. But the day we were preparing for the presentation, I came a few minutes late. And my associate manager made me stay outside, and they prepared the whole thing, and I missed out. And I said, this should never happen in my life again. So I didn't want to miss out any opportunity. That's
Great. So there are a lot of people who just can't be on time. Just can't be on time, no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, just can't be on time at all.
So Harsha has this one partner.
Do they need another story like this, or how do they now become on time?
Harsha has this one partner, I'm not taking his name, who's never on time. He makes people wait for 1 day, half a day, couple of hours, minimum. So he's got so much of shouting from Harsha. So now when he has to go anywhere with Harsha, he brings his breakfast in one dabba with him. That I'm not coming late, but I'm coming on time.
I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't wait for anybody.
Yeah.
And I'll never make somebody wait.
Got it. Amazing. That's nice to hear. So what do your, now that you've become so successful and, you've been doing so much and all of this, what do Ditya and Om think of, the father and the mother?
Well, first of all, so successful, I don't know. That's a very relative term, and I don't know what is so successful. But we are happy, definitely very happy in life. And if you ask me, other day in a fireside, they asked me, are you successful? I said, success for me is a combination of 4 things. It's family, friends, finance, and fitness. And in between these 4, if you have to rate yourself, and if you come anywhere above 7, I think you're successful. Otherwise, there's no end to what success is. I mean, there's no end to where everybody has a father sitting above him somewhere there. So I feel in terms of a family, if you can balance your family to about 8 or 9 out of 10, if you can be a good father, a good husband, 8 out of 9. If in terms of your friendship, if you can balance it to about 8 out of 9. In terms of your finance, even a 7, 7.5, I don't think anybody, it's difficult to reach a 10 out of 10. And in terms of your fitness, which is very important as you grow older, at least about 8, 9 out of 10, you are super successful. So it's a competition with yourself to get to 10 in that and not competing with anybody else to become successful for me. So that way, if you look at it, yes, I think I'm successful. I'm very fortunate to have a great family, amazing friends. I'm a little bit of a fitness freak. I work out every single day. And finance is fairly good, fairly good. So successful I am. Kids, I think, I don't know, I think they look up to us. Okay, my son always says his name is Om Krishna Melanta. Krishna is my dad's name. But he's been fighting, he wants to change it to Om Harsha Melanta. So that means he's proud of being my son. I'm very happy that he keeps changing. Even today on the way, he kept saying, Daddy, I want to change my name to Om Harsha Melanta. So my wife is like, no, your name is Om Krishna. He said, no, I want Om Harsha Melanta in my name. So small signs that you're on the right track.
Both of them absolutely idolize Harsha. They can't think beyond him. In fact, my son today, he's missed his tuition. He's finished all his work early in the morning because he just wanted to be here to listen to Harsha talk.
Amazing. That's so good to hear. I was having a discussion with sir about positioning and all of that, and he had come to, he was there in GRS the other day, and we were discussing, and we were just trying to understand kids now, right? So we saw that by the age 13, right, kids are like disconnected. They are like, I want friends, I don't want anything to do with parents, I want to go my way. Now, if your kids at that age are still idealizing, that's a big deal. That's a
I really feel that's more to do with how you bring them up. I think today, because husband, wife, both working, we've been fortunate that we've had our parents, his mom, my mom, who've been with us to give them the right values. But I think if you allow your child to be on the tab all the time, don't let them go outdoors, don't let them play. I think as parents, a lot of us get very protective of our children. Like, I think when we were growing up, we were always on the road. We were never at home. We were never in front of TVs. We were never in front of tabs. For us, we were always on the road. We were playing. You're free on a Sunday, go trekking up Chamundi Hill. That's what we used to do. It was never that we were allowed to go to watch a movie or anything like that. I think I watched my first movie when I was in college. I don't think we'd seen a movie in a theater before that. But it's how you bring them up. Today, if you give them the right values and if you put them into sports and things like that, I'm sure children will be connected.
We have a policy at home that when all 4 of us are together, no TV, no phone. But no phone doesn't work really because we have to take calls. But we at least make sure that we don't watch TV, no television at home. My kids don't have phone till 18. I've told them you're not going to get a phone till 18. Not that they don't. They desperately want. They keep peeping into each other's phones, but they're not allowed to have phones. But the most important thing I would say as a parent is your parents should see your difficulties. You know, the biggest mistake some parents do is they hide all their difficulties from their children and tell them that life is very easy and, don't have to worry, we'll provide you everything. We make sure that our children see our difficulties. We take them to our workplace. We take them to wherever we're catering. We take them to our restaurant. They've seen us slog. At times, my children are like, Papa, there are times we come home and they press our legs. We're fortunate to have such children. They press our legs, they press our hands because they know we're tired. We take them to our workplace. We tell them all our problems. And trust me, there is nothing hidden from my children. Whatever we talk, we speak in front of them. We've never told the children, go out and speaking something. No, we want them to hear and we want them to know that this is what life is. Because they will hear it somewhere or the other. They will hear it on the phone or they'll hear it from their classmates. So we've never hidden anything from our children. So that's probably made them a little more matured for their age. But they understand what we go through and that's worked for us.
That's awesome. Now we have a lot of students with us today, right? And a lot of them have dreams. Or maybe people don't have dreams. How to dream? Because one thing that she said was he's planning. But I think more than planning, you're visioning. You're thinking about how the future is going to be, where we are going to be, what's the new thing that I can do, what's the new adventure that I can go on. That's what you're doing constantly. That's what it looks like to me. So how to get to that space?
What's your area of excitement? That's the most important part. The simple question, youngsters, especially the college students, first thing ask yourself, what is the area of, what excites you? Don't ask yourself, what is making money in the market? A lot of things are making money in the market. You don't belong there. You belong to what excites you. First understand what is my area. For me, somewhere I always felt that opening a restaurant was something that was very excited. I never got an opportunity. When I did, we did. But first understand what is your area of excitement. Just because today, people talk about AI, then everybody is going towards AI. Suddenly software engineering started, everybody wanted to be a software engineer. Just because software was in the boom. I would say, hear what your heart has to say. What is it that excites you? 20 years from now, what would bring you the maximum happiness? I understand that you're young. I understand that at this point in time, you're too young to even, maybe look that far. But somewhere understand, would you be interested in being a restaurant owner? Would you be interested in being a vice president in a software company? Would you be interested in, being someone like, opening a GRS Fantasy Park? What is it that excites you? And once you understand your area of excitement, next understand what is the gap between your present skill set and to get there. Will you even be ever able to get there? Is it possible? Then you go find a mentor who can guide you. It's very important that you have somebody who will guide you and tell you, somebody who's much older, probably not achieved in a big way, but who's worked there, been there, done that, and who's learnt how to do something in life. Get a mentor who will guide you on how to get there. That is what I would say, rather than randomly trying your hands at everything possible and wasting and losing time. I wouldn't say that's also wrong. You can try that also. But I would say instead of that, if you know where your excitement lies, work towards that. That's the best thing to do.
Great. So there's no good business, nor is there a bad business.
No, but somebody once told me 3 industries that will never die. One is hospitality, one is healthcare, one is education. Even if you look at COVID, during COVID, healthcare did very well, education continued, and after that, the hospitality industry came back with a boom. Yeah. So ideally, if you do not know what to do next, these 3 industries are a great place to be in: healthcare, hospitality, and education. Out of these 3, relatively easier is hospitality. What is hospitality? From a chart shop in Ontikoppal to Radisson and Southern Star, you can do anything. That's hospitality. So depending on what your capability is, what your funding is, you can do whatever. And second thing I want to tell you is, unlike before, one of the biggest universities in Mangalore is owned by ex-EREC contractor. So education, with all due respect, education is not the most important thing to be an entrepreneur today. Okay, if you have the money or you have the backup, you get doctors to manage the dean, vice chancellors to manage the university. You need brains and ideas. So like I said, an EREC contractor owns the biggest university in Mangalore. What does it say? That he's got the best doctors, he's got the best vice chancellors, they run the business, he's just using his upper chamber to run it right. So if you have the brains, there is no limit to what you can dream and where you can achieve. Just the right way to get there, that's it.
Awesome. You want to add something to this? In terms of, when he comes up to you with these ideas, which seem out of the world, risky, putting things...
I would want to add something to this. I'm a little cautious. Always I'm a little cautious. When something difficult comes in, I go and tell her, let's not do it. She's the one who tells me, let's go ahead. But once she says, let's go ahead, then it's me who executes the whole thing. Like this, for example, this Boeing and applied. That was a big thing for us, 20,000 people in 2 different locations, 800. So when the second one came, I went and she told me that, applied wants us to get. I said, no way, we can't do it. We're already doing for 12,000. She said, what are you talking? We have to do this. She said, we have to do this and let it go. And then it was me who planned the whole thing. So she's the one who's more courageous, more daring. She's the one who gives me that thing that, okay, let's go ahead. Even when there was a point in time I was into manufacturing dental chairs, the business, we lost everything. And then the staff came and told me, let's do it again, let's reopen the business. I was a little hesitant. She told me one thing, Harsha, if we do this and succeed, excellent. If we do this and fail, we would have lost some money and things like that. But if we don't do this again, all our life will regret that we should have tried it. So she's the one who always gives that extra push. Then after that...
Okay, so now tell me about this dental chairs. My wife's a maxillofacial surgeon, so I want to know about dental chairs because we spent a bomb on them recently.
No. Thank God I came out of that business. Again, a good decision of having come out. Somebody came to me and he knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so he came up to me and said, why don't we manufacture dental chairs? I know how to do it. You put in the money, I'll start. So we started this company called Bharat Dental Equipments. We started a company called Bharat Dental Equipments on the 15th of August. And 1st of April, I don't know how we found the right date, he absconded. With some 20 lakhs of money he took and he ran away, and apparently he had borrowed a lot of money. So this first idea this was while I was in theorem. So my first idea of starting business failed. I said, this is gone, it's over. Then there were some 3-4 staff working in this dental chair company. They came up to me and said, sir, why don't you start? You invest, we'll run it. And I said, no, it's not, I don't know anything about this and I don't want to. They insisted, and that is when I told her, what do we do? She said, let's give it another try. That is how we started another company called TiE Medical Innovation. We were into manufacturing dental chairs. That is how we purchased Mysuru Union, the 1 acre property. That was for a CA Medical Innovation Factory. So we had taken a place on rent. It worked for a year. That is when we took a loan and bought an industrial land to make dental chairs. So we were making dental chairs. Then we realized dental chair manufacturing just needs 5,000 square feet and we are sitting on another 40,000 square feet empty. What do we do with this? So then we thought, okay, why don't we do that? We started growing. I was growing lawn and selling lawn. I was making Mexican lawn in the area and selling. All those things we tried. Then suddenly we came up with the, why don't we start a club or a place where people can come take membership, the children can enjoy. That's how the idea came up. And then we shared it with our friends. They decided to come in. Then all of us got in, brought another. That's how it started.
Amazing. Amazing journey. I have a couple of questions and then maybe we can have a chat as well. You've done all of these, you've had so many dreams and you've gotten, many of them have gotten executed. You've created results in the world, created change. What's next? What's the next dream? How do you keep yourself motivated? What's the next thing? What's the next big thing?
I wouldn't say big thing. We're coming up with a convention hall in Bangalore. It's called as Iksha Convention Hall. It's in Kanakpura Road, again in partnership with a couple of them. So that's one thing. And the next big thing is we are right now, 2 years back is when we got into the Bangalore market for catering. Fortunately, today we are counted as one of the top outdoor caterers in Bangalore. Our company is called as Union Catering Company. And very proud to say we compete with Taj, we did the TiE conference catering, which the national TiE conference that happened in Chamara Vajra, the catering was by us. So we are the in-house caterers at Chamara Vajra and a couple of other convention centers in Bangalore. That is keeping us quite busy. Our target is to reach 100 crores per year in terms of outdoor catering. We are right now maybe 1/4 there, but just 2 years. It's been 2 years. We've reached about 15-20 crores a year turnover right now. We want to achieve 100 crores. That's one big target that we've got. We've got a great team. We've got a great team of partners who manage and work. We are doing Siemens for 2,500 people day after tomorrow. So we are doing a lot of corporate events We did for a company called Microchip. So a lot of corporates engage with us. So one aim is to get there in terms of 100 crores turnover, which is big. In Bangalore, we'll be one of the top caterers if we do that.
No, that's amazing. You're looking at 100 crores in Bangalore or are you looking at other cities as
100
well?
100 crores in terms of outdoor catering. When we say other cities, if I have to reach 100 crores in Bangalore, then it will be 30 lakhs in Mysore, I think, because outdoor catering is a very small opportunity in Bangalore. Mangalore is even smaller. So most of it happens in Bangalore. We do in Chikmagalur, we do in Mangalore, we do in Coorg, we do in Mysore, but that's hardly 5% of the turnover that we do in terms of catering.
Got it. And so now you've got your catering. What takes most of your time? The catering business is that the newest business?
It's 2 years old in Bangalore. It does take a lot of time, but then most of my time goes in traveling. I travel to I'm forever traveling. I came last night at 2 o'clock. Now day after I'm going to Mangalore. So we have some business interest in Mangalore. We've got a restaurant in Mangalore. We've got a farmhouse in Mangalore. So I keep traveling, figuring out something to do there. So whenever I'm traveling, I'm always figuring out some opportunity to do something somewhere. Now if my finance permits and my time permit, then, and now that we are into business, a lot of people approach us with a lot of ideas. So we have to really think of what to do next.
Amazing. And what's your dream? What's your dream going ahead, or is this dream yours as well?
Yes, it is my dream too, but in addition to this, I think my dream is to sustain what we have and make sure that continues running well. So I think that's what's more important right now.
Absolutely, yeah. The biggest fear in our mind is losing what we have. That is the reason to why we are forever, one of us is always here in Mysore. When I go to Bangalore, she is here. When she goes to Bangalore, I'm here. So we are forever in the fear of losing what we have. Even, one single week, the business goes down, then we panic. We never take anything for granted. So exactly, maintaining what we have is the most important thing right now. She's probably not as ambitious as me. She's the one who stands behind and supports me. I'm the one who has big dreams. And suddenly one day I come up with the idea of saying that I'm going to retire. Enough now, just do this. But then 2 days, if I'm not doing anything, I feel restless. I feel I'm not doing anything worthwhile.
No, that's amazing, and that's the drive that is also required. That's what is also required to take it ahead. Amazing. It was wonderful talking to both of you all.
Thank you,
Let me open it up to. Yeah, I think let's take some questions as well.
My question is, this is regarding I have seen generally the people from the Canara region or the coastal region generally do good in hospitality or the food sector. Do you want to say something regarding this? What might be the probability of them succeeding more compared to the other people? This is
most of the
limited knowledge. If I am wrong, please excuse me.
Most of the people, if you go to Mumbai, at least at one time, if you walked into Mumbai and walked into any restaurant, you'll find that they're Mangaloreans. If you go to Pune, you'll find that they're restaurant. So there are 2 reasons. One, I think, I don't know whatever reason, but managing people comes naturally to the people in South Canara. For whatever reason, I see anybody, even from a very young age, I see they're very good with people. And hospitality is all about people management. It could be your employees, it could be your customers, it could be your vendors. It's about managing people. Unless you're able to manage people, you can never run a restaurant successfully, because too many moving parts, right from your kitchen to your security to your housekeeping to your service staff to your accounts, too many people involved, then there are your customers coming in. So it's about managing people. So one is, like I said, the reason being Mangaloreans, for some reason, I think one of the skills that comes naturally in Mangalore, maybe because too much of social life in Mangalore. If you look at Mangalore, there's too much of social life. If we are forever attending weddings or functions or yeah, so that people skill comes naturally. One second, like I said, the minute you leave, not necessary that all the restaurants in Mangalore are doing well. The minute you have stepped out of Mangalore or any place for that matter, you are under pressure to make sure that you do well. Second thing. Third thing is that hospitality is see, most of the people have come out of Mangalore. Most of the people those days are people who have run away from Mangalore. They had a fight with their father, brother, sister. They sat in the bus, randomly went to Bombay, ended up wiping glasses, plates, and then eventually opened their own restaurants. Most of them, most big success stories like that, you know.
Sunil Shetty's father.
Yeah, most of them. I know so many people who have started there. So what happens is there, you know, we always say in Mangalore, when Aishwarya Rai became the Miss World, we say Mangaloreans from underworld to Miss World. Everybody are there. Okay, we're from Miss somewhere. So when they've gone there, so, you know, hospitality is the easiest business to get into, at least those days, you know. With small money, you can open an omelette shop. If you have little more money, you can open a darshini. You have little more money, you can open a veg restaurant. Little more money, you can open a bar. So depending on how much money you have, hospitality is the easiest new business to get into, according to me. Very little experience, only managing people. You get a cook, you get a waiter, depending on the size, of course. So it's a relatively easier business to get in. So that is the reason why people who left started getting into the hospitality industry.
Thank you.
To start a startup called India Union, which can scale across India, how do you pitch an investor?
No, I need not that I don't need investor.
For pan-India, probably.
You know, I don't know, I'm very conventional in my approach. I normally have never been to an investor. I don't have a single investor in my life. It's more of partners. And I'm the kind who probably will not do something which is beyond my means. Okay, I've never done anything which is beyond my means. Whatever business I'm going to do next will be something that me and my partners can sustain, and that should not affect our existing lifestyle or our business. So let's say whatever business I'm going to get into, even if it means 100 crore investment, that 100 crore investment, God forbid, goes wrong, should not bring me down to the streets. My comfort level or my existing lifestyle has to remain the same. So I will only do things which might be very, very traditional approach or old school thought, but end of the day, it's about, at the age I'm 48 today. At our age, too much of risk and then, getting into the lion's dress is not acceptable again, So I want to make sure that whatever decisions I take, me and my partners are at least able to sustain the fall. If there is a fall, we should be able to sustain the fall. And I do not, at this point in time, I do not want to get to a situation where the investors or tomorrow I have to justify my actions or my not able to succeed to my investors. Okay, that is one of the reasons why it might change over time, but right now I definitely won't look at getting into investment.
Harsha, maybe you should probably talk about like how you spoke in the college the other day on why a partner instead of an investor. That would probably help him better.
No, that's what I said. Like a partner, I've got a lot of friends in Dubai now who want to invest a lot of money with me. Okay, because the rate of interest is very low there, the bank rate of it. They say, we can raise up to about 25, 30 crores. You want to invest, we'll invest with you. The issue is sitting there. He will not understand the ground realities here. If on a weekday your restaurant has to shut, or if you're paying something to some department, he sitting in Dubai will say, why do you have to pay so much to the police? Why do you have to pay so much to those people? The ground realities, they do not understand one thing, okay? And I have not come up with such a big idea right now where probably I'm looking at investors, to be honest. So whatever business we are doing is well within our financial reach, and we're growing in that line, and we want to play it safe, to be honest.
I'm an MBA student. Sir, I have a single doubt. Is there any strategy behind in your Mysore socials rules, like couple entry? So, because
you can call me directly.
No, sir. Sorry, because in my understanding, it is the first restaurant who have made a couple entry in Mysore. So,
when we did that, I think it was a big risk. It was just to safeguard. See, it was a members club.
And even if you ನಿಮ್ದು ಫುಟ್ಫಾಲ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬೋದಲ್ವ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್?
ಸರ್, ಫುಟ್ಫಾಲ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲ. I'll tell you where all we can increase our footfall. ಈಗ swimming pool, we have a pool. Okay. Last 8 years, except our members, we have not allowed anybody, including our relatives, to get into the pool. We have been told, I have members who tell, sir, my sister's son has come, I'll pay you 1,000 rupees, let me swim once. We say no. I told you one thing, definitely financial interest is the interest of Mysore Union, but financial interest is not the only interest of Mysore Union. One of the things I'll tell you, I have been to a club in Mysore. When we started, you asked us this question when we started. I've been to a club where I'm swimming with my daughter. I'm a member of the club in Mysore. I'm swimming with my club, and suddenly these 5-6 guys come with Bermudas, and all are jumping into the pool. They're enjoying. They had a couple of beers, I think, outside somewhere. One of them is a member. He's got 4-5 friends. They're all jumping into the pool. I felt uncomfortable. I walked out. Because my daughter was about 10-12 years old and all this young, nothing, they didn't misbehave, but I felt uncomfortable. So when we wanted a club where I'm sure that you know who's the other person in the pool with you. I didn't want outsiders coming in. So any of our sports facilities, we said we will not allow non-members. You have to know who is playing table tennis, who's playing badminton, who's playing, irrespective of if the revenue is less. That is in terms of the sports club. In terms of the restaurant, when we started initially, we said it's going to be members only. We said we are not even allowing outsiders. But within no time we realized that it is not going to be a viable model for us because we had 250 members. Only 3 or 4 people used to come to the club on a day-to-day basis. That is when we opened it to the outside. But when we opened it to the outside, we wanted to make sure that the environment is safe. The very first week we opened, we saw there were some 10 boys sitting there and looking at others' table. See, what happens is, even if you come with one lady in the group, 40% of her behavior is moderated. At least. When you are 10 boys, naturally, after a few drinks, the tendency is to look at other tables because you are not interested in looking at the boys on your table after that. The minute there is a lady, then by default, even if you want to look, you will behave yourself and look around. So we made a rule saying that our members can come in with men. If you are a member of Mysore Union, you can come in with other, they are allowed. If you are a non-member, then it has to be with a lady or a family, so that the general behavior, so that the women there knows that there's another woman in the other table, so they feel safe. Fortunately for us, we've been able to sustain this for 8 years, and it's worked for us very well. And we're probably the only place which do not allow stags.
Thank you, sir.
But on the lighter note, one day, there are a few girls who are making a lot of noise. My son is saying, Papa, instead of stags, no, you don't allow these stags, allow the boys, they're okay, not these girls.
From MIT Mysore. Being a woman entrepreneur, what would you like to suggest, like people like me who want to be a woman entrepreneur? And moreover, I have one major question. How are you managing that fear, what you will lose in this business, what you are facing in the conversation? You said you are having that fear that you will lose what you are having presently now.
Are in is a very persistent business. We are on a very hands-on business. So the hospitality industry is such that if you are not absolutely hands-on with what you're doing, if you don't know who are your staff, what is the kind of material. Like today we have 7-8 restaurants, but till today, all the purchase for all my restaurants managed by me. Now it's not very difficult for us to hire somebody who will manage the purchase and who'd probably buy. But Harsha always jokes, I get up in the morning to Urvashi saying, I want so many kilos of onion, so many kilos of chicken, so many kilos of mutton. I do that myself, not because I can't hire somebody else to do it, because I want to maintain that quality, that consistency, making sure the right brands of material come in. So it's a small example, but I think being hands-on and being persistent, as long as you are that way, you will not lose control on what is happening. And that fear should always be there, because if that fear is there, it will keep you grounded. And it will not let you reach there thinking that I have this and I have it all and nothing can go wrong. As long as you always have that fear in your mind that something may go wrong and I may lose something, you will be more cautious and you will ensure you do things rightly.
Moreover, just to add to this, in the last 1 year, I think at least every month there is a new restaurant opening in Mysore. At least every month. It could be vegetarian, non-vegetarian, it could be a pub or a bar or whatever. There is so much competition growing that if you want to stay in the market, you better have that fear that you lose this existing business. So you know what, you might come to my restaurant 10 times, extremely happy. 11th time you come in and you have a bad experience, you'll never come back again. So for us, the biggest challenge in our industry is to ensure that you're happy every single time you come in. In terms of the food, the hygiene, see, you come there to eat. It's not like if when you're going somewhere to eat something, the food goes into your stomach, so you have to be extra cautious that what my person is eating, that's the same thing that I'm eating, same thing my children eat 5 days a week in my restaurant. So I have to ensure that what you eat in my restaurant has to be good for you, that you have to come back again. If you go back and have a stomach upset, if you have color in your hand, then I'm not doing justice. So
correct. For that reason, we are very particular. In all our restaurants, we don't use color, we don't use preservatives. Our food may not look very fancy. As he said, there are so many more restaurants opening out in Mysore, and they're getting consultants from Bangalore, so the food is really well presented. but we don't use any artificial thing to make our food look different. So food is very natural, and you can eat our food every day. There'll be no stomach upset. There won't be like an indigestion, nothing like that. And I think that comes with when we are personally involved. And coming back to your question, as a lady entrepreneur, I think as a lady, there are a lot of negatives that one faces. Many times you're not taken seriously. When you go talk to people, especially if you go and talk to a guy, it hurts their ego because there's another lady trying to tell them something. So I think that's one thing which you learn over the period of time. So I have come crying so many times to Harsha that I'm trying to explain it to this person and he's not understanding. So he's always been there to be on
And
my
the staff
side.
initially would not listen to her. Then they realized that I'm only listening to her, so they started listening to her now.
Ma'am, another question. You'll have ups and downs in your journey. Then how do you bounce back? Like, you'll be in the down stage. How do you boost yourself?
I think the faith that after every cloud has a silver lining. So after every down, there is an up, and after every up, there is a down. So when you are on top, make sure you do the right things to continue being there. And when you are down, you learn what you did wrong to reach there so that you go back on top again.
We were very fortunate that at a very young age, when we started off only, we saw the worst phase of our life. We went through a phase where, I fortunately been brought up in a very reasonably good lifestyle by my parents. And then we reached a place where I had to sell my car, we didn't have vehicle, we didn't have money to spend. For a year, we have eaten potatoes and bread in our house because the shopkeeper would only give potatoes and bread on credit. 1 year, we've eaten breakfast, lunch and dinner, potatoes and on bread. No money to eat, no money to go out. And it was a big struggle. We used to decorate shops for Independence Day to get some extra money. So we've done that. Fortunately, that happened in the beginning of our life. So now, that one keeps you grounded. Second, that fear is because of that. Because if you lose out, you do not want to go through it again. And I'll tell you what, it's easier to have a rough patch, but once you've done reasonably okay in life, then going back to the rough patch is even more difficult. Living a normal life is okay. Once you've lived a better life, then going back to normal life is the biggest challenge. And that fear, I think everybody who's achieved a little bit should have, is what I think. We are talking out of our experience, and he was telling me about what this is an answer to your question, sir. You asked me about investors and all that. In your MBA colleges, they teach you about KRI, KRA, CRMs and all that. The only thing I think they're not teaching and they should start teaching is POM. And I think that is the most important thing, and that is called peace of mind. I think the most important thing for all of us in our life, at my age, what I've realized, is peace of mind. There should be one course or one chapter teaching youngsters about achieving peace of mind, because eventually what matters is that. It is not money, it is not success, it is nothing. It's about if you can go to sleep happily and wake up smiling, then that is the final achievement what you need to achieve.
Hi, I'm Pooja. My question is, what's your opinion on starting two startups at a time? It would be something like, as you said, starting a venture is like taking care of a newborn. So my question is, as taking care of a non-identical twins, a newborn twins.
Yeah, see, that is not an option. By choice, I think you should think about it if your mother and father both are strong enough to manage both the children. Okay, even children also, to some extent, it can get managed. But I would say, any business needs 1,000 days of your total dedication. Okay, stepping on two boats may not be a great idea. I would say start a business. That's what we've done. Mysore Union, 1,000 days, that is first 3 years, we haven't gone anywhere. Every single day, my wife, me, my partners, they would come, Vinay or Pratibha would stand at that entrance, registering names of people coming in. Okay, we don't need to do that. There are people who do it. It is just that it is that first 7-8 years of a baby. You have to ensure that the first 1,000 days, you give it your 100% full. What happens in those 1,000 days is the culture is built. How you think, how you behave, your staff starts behaving and thinking. You see, if you go to some of the restaurants in back, you can sit, ma'am. If you go to some of the restaurants in back, even yesterday I walked out. You go to a restaurant, he came and kept a tab. So I said, what is good? He said, tab il nodi, he said. I had to see on the tab, 20 minutes, already had a bad day at work. Now I'm trying to research the tab, I'm very bad at it. I'm figuring out what is there and all that. Then you order on the tab, he comes, keeps and goes. You order, then the bill comes, he goes. I said, I could have done this Zomato Swiggy from home. No, why did I have to come all the way to this place? You go to our restaurants, you go to Kling on Church Street. Whenever in Bangalore, just visit Kling on Church Street and you will see the old conventional way of service. Sir, Bunny sir, come sir. And that is what we wanted. You come to Mysore Union. Service is there. They will come and tell you what is good, what is not good. They will talk to you personally. That's what we wanted. So now we don't have to tell them that. 3 years, we've done that. Every time I would walk, there's a tissue paper, I'll go and pick it up. My staff would see. Today, you will not, because the culture is built. So when you build a business, take 1,000 days, into that business, build a culture, make sure it succeeds, then step into another business. I would not suggest you, for me it's scary to think of doing two things at a time.
That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
It's a thing of love, right? You have to fall in love with that baby and then clean the diaper and everything else. None of it is difficult, right? And having said that, this is the most painful thing in the restaurant business today. Is that you have to take your phone out, scan a QR code and then do it. It's the most painful thing for me. So much so that now I've made it a rule that when I go out with Namita, I don't carry my phone. I leave my phone at home or in the car and go there. And then they are like, okay, scan this and do this. And I'm like, why are you giving me work? I came here, I didn't want work. Why are you giving me more work?
We also have follow the scan code, but we don't, that's not the way it goes there. Our waiters will come and tell you what is good. They will personally talk to you. See, end of the day, we go to a restaurant for an experience. It's not just food. Food comes on Swiggy. Why do you go there? It's the overall experience of having been treated well. Somebody is attending to you, it's not just about going, eating and coming back.
I say this in Mangalore, this is what I've seen. In Mangalore, the waiter takes effort to treat you well. In Mysore, when I go, I build a relationship with the waiter initially so that I'm treated well. Right? This is the thing that I've seen. I say that in Mysore, I should give the tips first and then place an order. Because then it's still better. And all restaurants that I go to again and again, I make sure that I give a big tip because next time when I come, I want him to come, switch on the AC, pull out a chair for me. Because that's the reason why I'm going there. And you hit it on the head, it's not only the food. It's how they treat you. If they can make you feel special, then they'll keep coming back.
If there's one place in Mysore, without taking names, if I have to go there, I stop about 200 meters before that, give 500 rupees, take change of 500 rupee notes and go. From the entrance, you start giving people, then you're treated well. Otherwise, nobody even attends to you.
But how do you find trustworthy people or staff to work with?
You don't find trustworthy people. Let me be very honest with you. How does Bank of Baroda find trustworthy manager? He can run away with the money. There is no trustworthy people. See, people are people, end of the day. It is the culture that today I've got 580 people working across all my business. There might be people who are not trustworthy. You have to be cautious in your own business. You cannot say that my people are trustworthy, I'm going to leave and go. Your business will collapse. You have to put things in place, including the main accountant of yours. There is only so much. With all due respect, you might be a great man, but you as a businessman has to be cautious to know that you have your controls in place. You cannot leave everything and go, there's nothing you can do about it after that. You have to be cautious. You cannot find trustworthy people, but yes, you can train them and get them to where you want them to reach. We've had bad experiences, we've had people run away with advance and things like that, all that happens. But you can't find trustworthy people. Thank you for considering us worthy enough to spend this evening with you all.
I think it was fantastic. It was so rich, right? The entire conversation was so rich. It was so honest, and it was a pleasure. It was truly a pleasure to listen to both of you. Thank you so much.
Guys, I repeat the first quote which I said it in the beginning. The heart of hospitality is about creating space for someone to feel seen and heard and loved. This is what the entire session was all about. A big round of applause to all the three on the dais. So much of enthusiastic questions from the young student members of TiE Mysuru. Hope your questions is answered, and over a networking high tea, you will be just finding some more time to go with it again. Now I request Mr. Bhaskar Kalale, President TiE Mysuru, on the dais to hand over the memento to Mr. Harsha Melanta, Mrs. Urvashi Melanta. Not to forget, a big round of applause to even Vinay and Mrs. Vinay, who have been supporting with the Melanta family all through. I request Sabrishan sir to make the concluding remarks and deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening. This was planned to be a fireside chat. It ended up being fireside cheer or fireside laughter. Wonderful. Wonderful to both of you. The couple of key takeaways that I want to, and I can relate to that. Punctuality. I always say punctuality is the hallmark of self-respect. You don't go on time because you have to please somebody. You go on time to any place because you feel uncomfortable otherwise, which is also my case. So my wife keeps telling me, why do you want to go there so early? So I have to give her some reason. Not that I'm very uncomfortable going late. I won't get a parking space for my car. Today also I shared with Shiv. I said, let us not go on time, let us get ahead of time so that we get parking space. Luckily, I got one. About South Canara. Now, how many of you know the story of Udupi Sri Krishna Sweets here? And of course, Madam is also sitting here. She is also from that place. Udupi Sri Krishna Sweets also started giving away the fried items on a bundle across in the corner of the road somewhere. Now, how big they are there? So, probably it is in their DNA that they know how to run hospitality business and things like that. Sometimes, the way Harsha shared, Harsha, of course, means happiness. So, there is a movie, wonderful movie, I don't know if you have seen, In Pursuit of Happiness. Bill Smith does that. It's often said, happiness leads to success. It's not the other way around. Success never leads to happiness because success brings fear of failure. If you are happy in doing whatever you do, whatever it may be, you are bound to succeed. That's why most of the startups, they have to be happy. Failure, you learn more lessons. Okay, so that is exactly what they are doing. And of course, the warmth of South Canara, I have personally experienced. I lived in Karkal for a year, and wonderful people, wonderful people. I used to work for that Vinay Hegde's company, and we started Polytechnic and some teaching and all that. Wonderful place to be, but because for so many other reasons I had to leave, come back. Now, we also know that behind every successful man, there is a woman. Now here, behind this successful man, there is a woman who pushes him. You must have heard about this, I don't know, WhatsApp story or something. There is a crocodile-infested pond, and there is a reward given. Whoever crosses this, and after jumping into, everybody is wondering, one man succeeds. So he was interviewed, asking, how did it happen? No, my wife pushed me. It's very important because if she is behind you, she is around you, then you don't have to convince anybody else. Now, and about hospitality, doing it yourself, personally choosing all this. We have another example in Toronto where Asha does a lot of things. They are mentors, motivators. Yes. So, there are certain industry where you have to be personally involved. See, my mother used to say a long time back, how the dishes come out, unless you put yourself into it. Recipe is only one thing, but how you do it, you have to put yourself into it. So I think that's what the takeaway we have. Managing 32 partners, or now it's going to be 34 partners, is amazing. It's really amazing because each one comes with a different background to bring them all on the same wavelength. And that is one of the biggest takeaways that we have. And investors versus partners. Many of us know how to handle investors. In fact, I also handle investors in a different environment, in a corporate environment. They can really get onto your nerves sometimes. But partners, I think partnership, where everybody has equal stakes in it, so everybody will gel together and work for the business. I think these are some of the bigger takeaways. Hard work, discipline, and luck. We all know that HDL is a good cholesterol. LDL is a bad cholesterol. So you have given the acronym. Everybody have HDL. Whoever has HDL will succeed because he will have hard work, discipline, and of course luck. So, wearing emotions on his sleeve, fantastic. We could see that in the conversation, and of course, Ashwin did a fantastic job. Thank you, Ashwin, for doing the fantastic job. Whom I know when he was a kid. And of course, thank you both for enriching our evening. There's so much of takeaways that especially youngsters can. I feel, even I think I am young. I measure my age by how close I am to 100. So, but I'm only 30. So, thank you all very much. Thank you, Bhaskar, for giving it a good, setting the tone for today's meeting. And thank you both. And thank you all the charter members who are here. And also thank you. I also thank the hotel for giving this hospitality. So that's about it. So enjoy your evening. Anything else, Kishan? Thank you. So join us for networking, IT. You can, any questions you are not asked or they're not answered, you can always pick up there. Here we go.
Yeah, I request the charter members of TiE Mysuru to join on the stage. Harsha sir, we just want you both to be here.